What's up, Vintage Moto fans? Bill Wheeler here, Wheelhouse Garage, and this is a bike and a beer. I am so excited to share this bike with you today. This is a 1967 Husqvarna 250. It's a super early version of this model, so there's a ton of history to unpack. Of course, we're gonna fire it up and hear it sing, but before we do that, we need to grab a cold beer. Let me go get one. Oh yeah. All right, so if you're not already aware, Husqvarnas are made in Sweden, a Scandinavian country. So for today's episode, I have chosen Einstock, which is from Iceland, another Scandinavian company. It's got a Viking on it, which this tank has a Viking on as well. So this is their winter ale. It's slightly past winter, but it feels like winter today. So we're gonna go with it, and I can't wait to try this lovely beer. That's my favorite color of beer right there. You can't go wrong with that amber. Oh man, that looks so good. All right, cheers folks. Let's see what it tastes like. So good. It's just my favorite. Caramely, yeah, real caramely. It tastes like it looks. So smooth, it's thick. Man, this on a freezing cold winter day next to a fire? I don't know how you say it in Swedish, but hell yeah. All right. Now, if you don't already know this about me, I am a two-stroke junkie. I've been riding two-strokes my whole life, and although I love the old four-stroke iron, man, I have been jonesing to hear, ride, just be next to a vintage two-stroke. So when I asked my buddy Alan if he had anything cool that was a two-stroke, he didn't hesitate. He also didn't tell me what it was. So when that door rolled up, you can imagine my excitement when I saw this bike. Whoa. A 67 bolt-together Husky. The game changer of the time. This is the story the best I can tell it.
In the early 1960s, motocross was strictly a European sport, and Husqvarna, which had been making motorcycles since 1903 and firearms since 1689, you heard that right, 1689, were struggling with bike sales, and they were in need of a new flagship since sales of the well-acclaimed Silver Arrow started to steadily decline. Star motocross racer Torsten Hallman did win the 1962 World Motocross Championship, which helped with sales as Husqvarna released a replica that sold well in Scandinavian countries, but they needed more. They needed the enthusiastic US market to adopt Husqvarna motorcycles and ultimately motocross. Edison Dye, a successful businessman and bike dealer, came to know Husqvarna from a chance meeting with Swedish dealer Stig Eriksson and convinced Husqvarna to let him represent their motorcycles. He bought 50 bikes to launch the brand in the US and gave the first bike to everyone's motorcycle hero, Malcolm Smith. It was the best bike he'd ever ridden, even better than his beloved Greaves. Malcolm became the West Coast dealer, and John Penton became the East Coast dealer. I feel like I have to point out that the address number of Malcolm's dealership is the founding year of Husqvarna. What are the chances? Also in '66, Torsten Hallman came to the U.S. and basically brought the sport of motocross with him. He showed the U.S. how compelling motocross was and how a Husky 250 was the best bike to do it on, winning all 23 of the races that he entered. Shortly after that, Dye and Hallman introduced the classic Interam motocross series, where most of the world's top stars came to compete towards the end of the 60s. The introduction of the Husky 250 by the aforementioned pioneers in '66 made 1967 a banner year for Husqvarna motorcycles, and the 250 Cross that I have the honor of sharing today is a wonderful representation of that special time.
Now, those of you who are familiar with these bikes have already noticed that there's been some changes here, and rightly so. This bike is set up to race vintage motocross, so I get it, but let's go over some of the stuff that's original here and some of the stuff that's been changed. This is an indeed 67 matching numbers bike. The frame and the motor, the numbers match. This was the last year for that. The following year in '68, they would go to the M series. This tank, although it is an original paint, original Husqvarna tank, is a little bit different than the one that would have actually come on this bike. The original tank had a burgundy color. This is the correct exhaust. A Skyway silencer has been added. This bike would have originally come with steel rims, and as you can see, it's been fitted with Acron shouldered aluminum rims. It's got a gunner gasser throttle. I believe these are the correct original levers. This is the correct fender stay, the forks, and front hub are correct. The rear hub has been updated with a later model rear hub because the hub in 67 in the back was pretty darn spindly. These are work shocks, which are a fantastic upgrade, but you wouldn't have seen that on there in 67. Correct airbox with an updated sticker on here for vintage Husqvarna. You can see it's been fitted with a Mikuni carburetor, which has no doubt been done for reliability and performance, but originally in 67 you would have seen a Bing side float carburetor on here. This seat is correct as well, and you can see where it came from if you look at the silver arrow from Husqvarna. The rear fender here is aluminum, which is correct, but it's not the right shape. It's replaced the original and extremely hard to find duckbill rear fender that you would have seen on here in 67. You can tell this is an early motor because the fins on the top are splayed, whereas in later years the fins were straight. I love this right here. You can probably figure out what this is for. These were called goodie guards, and they were available at Husky dealers back in the day. They protect you from hitting your junk on that bolt right there. 4-speed gearbox on these, by the way. I think I hit all the important stuff, which means it's time to fire this thing up. You ready? Let's go. Okay, so we'll turn the gas on here, and we got a Mikuni carb, so we're going to put the choke on. Dude, this thing is running so good. All right, so here's the deal. Riding this bike around this property was pretty darn fun, but this bike just has too much potential. It's too amazing not to take out on a real trail. So that is what we were gonna do on next Saturday's video. We're gonna take this thing out, we're gonna drive it up the mountain and hit some sweet single track. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, buy a t-shirt if you really wanna support the channel. I'll ship it out to you. Appreciate all of you so much. I'll see you next Saturday with a whole new video. Cheers!
Thanks so much for watching that video. Be sure to tune in every Saturday morning for more fun and adventures. There's over 30 motorcycles to check out on the Bike and a Beer series, and we now have t-shirts available for sale. Follow along for some epic adventures in the High Sierra on all types of rare and incredible motorcycles. There's a workshop element to this channel too, as I do a lot of my own mechanical work. I'll share all the tips and tricks I've learned, show you all the tools I use to get it done, and there'll be some exciting new products to promote as well. So join in every Saturday morning, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Thanks.